What's going on, everyone? You're listening to Bulls Central here. Hope you're all doing well. So guys, we have the regular season starting tomorrow, for the NBA anyway, and for the Bulls, they'll open their season on Wednesday against the Atlanta Hawks. And as I mentioned in prior videos, I will be doing a post-game recap after every game, at least to start the season, and we'll see if I'll be able to keep up with that. I likely will do pre-game reports as well here and there. But for this video today, I did want to share a few updates for the Bulls, especially with today being the deadline across the league for contract extensions. And there were some notable contract extensions that were finalized for various players, namely Rudy Gobert, which I'll get into in a little bit, probably in a separate video, as that does impact the Bulls' overall free agency going into 2021. But the one we haven't heard from yet as far as reaching a deal is the contract extension for Lauri Markkanen, at least at the time of this recording anyway. Now, I mentioned that, this in prior videos, but I do not expect the Bulls to reach an agreement on an extension for Lauri. I know that last week Casey Johnson, the Bulls beat writer, did anticipate they would reach an agreement prior to the deadline, and he did actually come out with a tweet last night citing that the Bulls and Lauri Markkanen are not close on an extension, meaning they're still far apart in terms of the overall salary and term of the agreement itself. Again, this isn't surprising given the new front office is really assessing their options this season to see what pieces on the roster fit, and likely wouldn't want to lock themselves into a long-term deal with Lauri unless it was for a very reasonable price, which of course Lauri's agent isn't going to want to get, or he's going to want to get the most that he can for Lauri based on his overall potential. Now, the problem for Lauri again is that his play last season did not bode well for him in a contract extension. Whether it was his fault or the fault of coaching and what Jim Boylen wanted out of him in his system, it just leaves a big question mark on his true potential and the progress of his overall career. I think the front office, don't doubt that Lauri can bounce back, and that his potential is there, but because it is a bit uncertain, they would rather wait it out and see how he performs this season. And if he gets back to the Lauri we saw 2 years ago, I'm sure that they'll gladly give him a big contract to keep him for the long term. So this is really up to Lauri to prove himself this season to the organization and the fans, who may have started doubting him. I'm still a big Lauri fan and I have high hopes for him still, but as I've said before, this is a make or break year for him if he wants to stay in Chicago. I personally think we're going to see a breakout season for Lauri when, with him averaging probably over 20 points per game. That's kind of where I'm expecting him to really net out at, especially now because this is a contract year for him. It's very unlikely, as I said, that they're not going to reach an extension. Therefore, it's a year that he really needs to prove himself, not only just to the Bulls, but for the entire league as a whole. He's going to want to play his best basketball to secure a big contract in the offseason and prove that he means business. One thing I did like hearing from Lauri in a recent interview in regards to playing in Billy Donovan's system, he said, quote, "I feel like it's night and day from last year. Being in down screens and being on the move the whole time, I'm really liking the offense so far," end quote. So you can take that for what you will. Perhaps a shot at Jim Boylen. I think anytime you say something is night and day and you're really liking how the offense is structured so far, now that's usually an indication that he really wasn't happy under Jim Boylen and playing in his offensive system, where he wasn't being utilized to his strengths and allowing him the flexibility to do different things. So you gotta love hearing that as a Bulls fan, that the players are liking the new coach so far and the relationships he's building with the team, as well as designing offensive schemes that fit players' strengths and where they like playing. And it's just not something that the team saw last year under Jim Boylen. Now, the other good piece of news for the Bulls is that Garrett Temple practiced with the team for the first time yesterday after fully recovering from COVID. He also mentioned that he expects to be available for the game opener, barring any setbacks with his health. And then despite actually missing the preseason and practices thus far, Temple did actually say he watched film during quarantine to stay up to speed with Donovan's system. That way, you know, he'll hopefully be able to slide right into the rotation nicely starting in the game on Wednesday. But anyways, guys, that's all I've got for you for now. We'll find out shortly at the end of today on whether Markkanen and the Bulls have reached a deal on an extension, but at this point, it is looking unlikely. You know, stay tuned on that, and I'll keep you guys posted. Hope you guys are looking forward to the regular season as much as I am. As always, guys, be sure to subscribe if you're a Bulls fan. I'll be announcing a giveaway in the coming days for my subscribers, so don't miss out on that, and I will catch you guys in the next one.